Yo, what's up? What's up? This your guy Ray Hama, one versus a million. Let me know if I could be heard. Let me know if I could be heard. Hopefully, my sound is coming through clear. Um, yes, I want to bring it back today, man, with this because last time I showed this, yeah, I'm gonna be honest though with you brothers. I was drained. I was tired as hell. So yeah, I felt like I needed to properly redo this and go over this because this is a very important issue and one, as I mentioned in my last stream, that that I find that a lot of brothers in the space fail um, to rage against. You know, they fail to present this. You know what I mean? Like it's very rare, but but it's more so when it comes to content like when it comes to these drag demons. You know, I get it. You know, what I mean, hey, yay, yeah, these officers are somewhat now starting to arrest these crazy ass females and shit, but I don't want to, like that be like, okay, it's like a dopamine hit, like I see it is with a lot of you cats, hell nah, like this here of what I'm going to be presenting is of the more higher importance, where it evolves around man being like falsely accused, falsely arrested type of shit, and it relates and it intertwines with the term blue leashing. Shout out to Dr. T.S. Johnson. All right, and that could also lead to uh, wrongful arrest because they can use the woman, as an anchor to help them to create a wrongful arrest, to hurry up and just get rid of you because they just don't like you because they're so team bitch. So, and what I'm be sharing is videos from Indisputed. Um, I think his name is Richard Riley, and the other is sources from um, the Real News Network. So shout out to them. Shout out to them and fair use. But yeah, I want you guys to see this, man, because these are videos I came across in my search, for searching for a lawyer. Because, like I said before, um, I went through a situation that involves a wrongful arrest, um, that really, really messed me up, um, and I didn't know it was gonna be so hard to find a lawyer to help me, to tackle this shit because of seeing how it's a common thing. It's a common thing. And I want to say too, this, Mr. President, President Trump, is full of shit of how you can get the DOJ in order because I called them about this issue and they're saying, well, it's not that big of a issue or problem for them to intervene in some sort. I'm like, man, I'm like, yeah, that's bogus for when y'all know that this is a huge problem. Because what if this causes one to rage out or for a whole shadow militia to form? So yeah, yeah, nah, it's a change is going to come because, like I said, for in that example of that, you think I'm going to allow myself, or you think a lot of us men are going to continue to allow ourselves, them as black men, to allow ourselves to continue on to be falsely accused, falsely arrested, and not seek any kind of vengeance whatsoever? Like we're supposed to just allow ourselves to just ball up and just continue to just take these blows and allow y'all to play with our lives and just do whatever. because these kind of things can also cause such a one to lose your jobs, and you can do the trickle down effect of that. So, and I'm wondering, like, okay, yeah, it's between when it comes to trying to find a lawyer, and I see this. It's not just me. There's a lot of other men too as well. As I continue on, like in my search, especially in other, places, other avenues like Facebook or whatever. Hear people, having the same issues, trying to find a lawyer. I'm like, why the fuck is this? Like, it's like y'all scared, or like y'all are really gender biased as hell. Because when it comes to these women, now as we know, they can they can get a lawyer like in they'll come forth like in legions, ready to help them. This shit is so common. It's like, damn, it's damn near as common as 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 the situations that happen when it comes to accidents. Damn near not accidents, but when somebody wronged you on the road, and when somebody hit you with their shit, and yeah, it's that common, and the shit needs to change and it needs to stop. Otherwise, don't be surprised if you see cats start rising up, and then I want to hear this boo hoo hoo. These officers, what the man? He did not have to do that to this officer. Blah, blah. I don't want to hear none of that shit, because I'm all for men standing up, especially predominantly black men standing up there for themselves, standing on their own 10 against all forms of evils, standing on what's righteous and holy before God. Amen. And so, let's go over here because I don't know what's going on with Rumble. I'm seeing what's up, man, with this. But yeah, I was, like I said, guys, I was totally drained, man, because and finding this content and looking at the old videos too, because I'm not just gonna be like some cats, how they wanna. Some cats, they either during their live streams or when they post videos, they'll post a video like to get you hyped up about it, whatever, making you think they watched the whole video, but damn it, you're like, what the hell? This is actually clickbaity. So what the hell is going on here? I'm like, dude, like, you're talking about, oh, there's this big issue going on, there's this secret that's revealed, whatever, but you watch the damn video with this motherfucker, and you're like, man, come on. You didn't even see the whole video, man. You didn't even see the video at all. Like, you just went with the title and just boop, and you just said to hell with it. You know, you're just gonna show it. Like, come on, man. It's like a waste of my time. Because then it turns into where it's just gossip and speculation. I'm like, oh man, come on, dude. Like, of all the other videos, motherfucker, I could watch them in hell if I want to, speculate and all that shit. So, so yeah, I mean, the shit has to stop, man. The shit has to stop. So, yeah. So come here in the Hama Force. Please hit the like, share, follow. It's your host, Ray Hama. One verse a million. I'm not your fan. I'm not your stand for. I am brother. Damn it. And I'll tell you this here, man. We're gonna get into it and ask yourselves, why have not come these cats in the space, cover these kind of issues, man, which I'm about to show you guys right now today. in its full, in its entirety this time because yeah, I'm fully awake. Yeah, I am awake, alert, ready to go, man. Finish this up, man, because like I said, after it was triggering for me because of me going through because of me excuse me of have going through such situations like this, man, and that that affected me greatly, even to this day. Uh, like any little sliver of hope I had in the law enforcement that they would do their job and shit. That's all out the damn window. I don't give two shits. No, I'm all for policing thyself. Yeah, because you can't trust them. You can't trust them to have a to operate in any kind of sound judgment or true reason and or any form of righteousness and shit. Now these motherfuckers are just wicked, wicked. Hardly ever a time where the motherfuckers a operated was best in my favor on shit. As we clearly see multiple times, man, with in these cases of them being lapdogs for these drag demons, where like if they point to a motherfucker saying this motherfucker, this man touched me, he hit me, go get him, officer. And this motherfucker, dumb as hell, not with no discernment, would just dash with a motherfucker like, hey, come here. And this motherfucker don't even know this bitch from Adams. He just want to just snatch a motherfucker up to show like he's doing his job. Like, here I come to save the day, ass motherfucker. Yeah, get your ass on somewhere. Um, yeah, we don't need shitty ass non-discernment having and racist ass fucking cops, and we don't need them motherfuckers in law enforcement. Nah, man, those motherfuckers need to be uprooted. We need motherfuckers that's gonna truly uphold the law across the board to truly do their job them as they fucking meant to do. But like I said, man, this shit was draining, man. I was just pissed looking at it. These situations. I'm like, man, I have no choice but to resonate with this. Especially, for anybody, if they've been through such situations, that involves like wrongful arrest by the police. And especially too if it affected you, man, such a great level. Oh yeah, yeah, you're gonna feel drained with this shit too, man. Coming through looking for hours of content and shit. So, but I already have it saved, and we're gonna be checking it out. Uh, and after this, I will be doing a stream, to before ending the day. Like, I don't want to end the day like this. I want to end it on a happy, on a more exciting and joyful note. So we'll be checking out some shows and movies, that type of shit. Um, but yeah, so I'm keeping everything, related. I'm not going to be all over the place. So I'm going to keep it all concise and straight down the middle with just this issue here, and if there happens to be anybody that, that wants to come through and shit after I show these videos, cool. Give your take on it or give some info about it, whatever. Um, some more info about another video or whatever the hell. Cool. But I'm not going to be veering off from this because, like I said, there's too much covering of certain other shit. I'm seeing more police cams of other bullshit, versus when it comes to shit like this. So buckle in and chill back, have a drink, smoke because this may be a little triggering. All right, peace. I will be checking this out right now. Hold on.
Two cops assaulted black men and then decided to throw a teen girl in a 24-hour rampage. Put it up full mask. The story should have more attention to it. Austin Butler and Dylan Triddle, two Louisiana cops, deemed, quote, bad apples by the police department. The police chief said they were bad apples. They were arrested by state police for malfeasance after allegedly using excessive force, violating the constitutional rights of citizens in three separate incidents in July caught on police body cam video. At a press briefing on August 20th, Alexandria Police Chief Chad Grimillion and the mayor, Mayor Roy, expressed their disgust as they showed the police video and further described what happened in each violent encounter between the two cops and three people they physically abused in a 24-hour period beginning on July 27th. So in the first incident, we have the screenshot. First incident, captured on video, the officers arrived at a local extended stay. This is a local motel, after responding to a disturbance about a resident playing music too loudly. They knock on a door and a black male emerges. And after expressing some, frustration, he complies with their request to gather his belongings and leave the motel. As the man, with an arm full of his stuff, carefully exits through the front door, he lightly brushes against the officer who is standing in the doorway. Okay? A moment later, that officer turns, roughly grabs the man in the hallway, causing him to drop all of his property. As he further assaults and cuffs and startled the man, the officer accuses him of battery. Yes, that's battery. Battery on an officer. There's more. And the second incident aired at the briefing. The officers responded to a call from employees at a local bar. Same cops. The bar is called The Stick, about a man who was refusing to leave. The video shows the officers enter, talk to a young black male who is seated at a table, and tell him he has to go. The man agrees and then asks them if he can have a ride. One officer says, "I have a dog, not unless you want to get bit." "For real?" the man says, showing curiosity about the canine. The officers then open the door of the bar and stand on the threshold, watching as the man walks toward the patrol car and cops appearing to peer in the window at the dog in the back seat. The two officers then run to the man, grab him, slam him to the ground, one punching him as the other officer cuffs his hands behind his back. Quote, "I didn't do anything," the man exclaims as he is manhandled by the cop. Quote, "I'm sorry." Quote, "All you had to do was effing leave, you dumb F," one officer says. Another one says, "You're going to jail now." Within 24 hours. This is just one shift. The police chief said the department chose not to release the video of the third incident to the public because it includes images of some juveniles at a mental health facility. But the city official said the officers were responding to a possible riot at the facility that had calmed down and where patients were on lockdown by the time they arrived. Despite the fact the situation was already de-escalated, one of the officers decided to dry stun a non-compliant patient, a teenage girl, who did not pose a threat. With a taser, Roy said, then the officers threw her through a doorway to the ground. They used a level of force that, quote, no one can say was justified, said the mayor. They were at a facility of children who are struggling with mental health issues. That's your first part. The mayor and the chief are lying to you about why they didn't release it. All they have to do is blur out the faces of the minors. That is considered appropriate by the courts. They chose not to do it. The question is why? Why? Could it be because what those cops actually did to those children, in particular to that one child, is so extreme and so disgusting that it would actually create even more anger, even more outrage as to how these cops remained in power for so long. We're dealing with a 24-hour period, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. You mean to tell me these cops together just figured out, you know what, today we're going to be corrupt cops? Yes, both of us corrupt. No. This is who they are. This was their routine. And for the chief to say these were bad apples. Okay, chief, what happens when you keep bad apples in an apple barrel? It spoils the bunch. So I don't necessarily disagree with you. The initial suspension and the subsequent firing of the two officers that occurred after an internal affairs investigation by the Alexandria Police Department into, quote, this run of rather roguish behavior was an intervention aimed at preventing worse incidents in the future, said Roy, who personally reviewed the police video. Quote, this is a bad day for those that wear a badge. Nowhere in my 30 plus years of law enforcement is this acceptable behavior. I was not trained this way. These officers were not trained this way. Fortunately, we caught it when we did. Quote, we had two bad apples. That doesn't make for a bad tree. The police chief continued. Quote, we clipped the sour fruit off the tree immediately. And we are here to be transparent about it and to ensure that transparency. Put up the chief and the mayor again. So let's use your tree analogy, chief. How did the apple get bad? You see, the apple is nourished by the branches of the tree. So if you believe you have two bad apples on a perfectly fine apple tree, you are mistaken. You are lying. What happened was culture. What happened was culture. These individuals operated as if they were above the law. They didn't give a damn about the cameras at the facility. They didn't care about the cameras outside of the club. They didn't care about the cameras in their own vehicles. They did not care about the witnesses they did this in front of. They did not care about the fact that those are minors. They did not care that they had a mental health issue. They cared about none of that. These aren't calculated, measured moves. That's culture. Every day. You don't become that desensitized in one day. So the chief says, bad apples. Okay. The mayor referred the criminal cases to Butler, or the chief referred the criminal cases to Butler and Triddle to the Louisiana State Police, who conducted an independent investigation over 2 months before arresting them both for malfeasance in office October 2nd. Butler was also charged with 1 misdemeanor count of simple battery, reported KLB. Both men were booked. It booked and released within an hour. The Rapids Parish District Attorney's Office will take over the prosecution from the former officers. Ladies and gentlemen, the fix is in. Those cops can do all of that with no other investigation. They're not reviewing past arrests or footage from other incidents. They're not under criminal investigation for anything outside of that 24-hour scope, because they want you to believe that everything that happened bad only happened within those 24 hours. They're not charged with felonies for going around literally assaulting citizens and children. How are you not charged with child abuse? How are you not charged with abuse of the disabled, which is a law in that state? How did you avoid these charges? Because according to the mayor, what you did was so egregious, they can't even show the video to the public. But you got misdemeanor charge. All right. Sharing thoughts here.
Yeah, this whole thing about apples. I love apples. Honeycrisp, pink ladies.
Same here.
Stop, okay, with the lies. What is needed here is not plucking some rotten fruit off of a tree. A controlled burn. A controlled burn is needed here, because this is just absolute trash behavior. And I'm going to tell you something. You know me for a long time, Doc, and sometimes I'm like a dog with a bone. If I believe there's a wrong here, I'm just not going to stop. And maybe that's good, or maybe that's petty. What's required here, though, is petty. People need to not let it go. You're going to stop playing in our faces, okay? We need to be petty. And in this case, I don't know why holding someone accountable would even be referred to as petty, but we need to not let it go ever. Despicable. Why would this child love themselves if the community can't show love?
That's right. That's right. To the people of the community, you all deserve much better than what they're giving you.
Yeah, man, that's diabolical right there in itself, man. Like, yeah, and he's right. Like, he's right. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Okay, yeah, I'm coming through. But yeah, man, how come these motherfuckers ain't, ain't facing more charges than what they are? You know what I mean? Like, how come ain't more investigations ain't being launched, into their ass, to get their ass for a whole a whole streak of fuckery that them officers been doing. Like, because if a true investigation was done, we can guarantee them, hey, and if they was really about, what was righteous, damn it, then hey, and holding the officers accountable and shit, then if they was truly about holding officers accountable, then we can be sure that that they will be facing more charges, as they should. Evil bastards, you know what I mean? Like, and being charged, yeah, they should be charged, damn it, with some kind of charges of what they've done against the disabled. That shit ain't right, man. Shit is not right, yeah, and people are tired of it. People are going to start rising up, and then we better not, we better not have nobody, damn it, surprised of shit. Is it going to be an example of what it means, damn hell, when it comes to paying for being corrupt? So yeah, corruption though will pay, and to some degree, it has its own expiration date. So So yeah, and shout out to the families of those people who was wronged by these officers. And what's so effed up is right, like as these officers, are known to doing like the highest, wildest, craziest, deranged shit. They're able. It's not a bad rep for them, right? Because they're able to go to a whole nother damn department after doing some crazy, high off the wall, diabolical shit to you or yours. Well, they did 3-4 years wild and got out, and now they're able to work in a whole nother department that's some states away. Hindsight. You think, damn it, that's enough to stop a motherfucker, right? If they wanted to be on that mode of revenge, knowing this cat's out. And they find out, damn it, through the grapevine, damn it, okay, where this person's working at. And they're not gonna care that it's some states away. They're gonna know that, hey, oh, he's in the States. All right, bet. And then there you go. Motherfuckers will plot from there. So yeah, motherfuckers are gonna rise up, man. We can't take no more of this bullshit. But let's check some more of this shit out right here. I got another one for you. This is even more wild.
Hello, my name is Tia Graham, and welcome to the Police Accountability Report. As I always make clear, this show has a single purpose: holding the politically powerful institution of policing accountable. And to do so, we don't just focus on the bad behavior of individual cops. Instead, we examine the system that makes bad policing possible. And today, we will achieve that goal by showing one of the most disturbing videos of police overreach I have ever seen: a violent traffic stop by a gang unit that ensnared a teenage girl and her innocent father. A rare glimpse into the threat that militarized policing poses to our basic constitutional rights, which we're going to break down into all of its problematic pieces. But before we get started, I want you watching to know that if you have video evidence of police misconduct, please email it to us privately at par@therealnews.com or reach out to me on Facebook or Twitter at Tejas Baltimore, and we might be able to investigate for you. And please like, share, and comment on our videos. It helps us get the word out, and it can even help our guests. And of course, I read your comments and appreciate them. You see those hearts I give out down there. And I've even started doing a comment of the week to show how much I appreciate your thoughts and to show what an amazing community we have. And we also have a Patreon called Accountability Reports. So if you feel inspired to donate, please do. We don't run ads or take corporate dollars, so anything you can spare is greatly appreciated. All right, we've gotten that out of the way. Now, as host of a show focused on police accountability, I have watched and reported on a variety of horrible arrests and horrifying body camera video. However, the video I'm showing you right now is one of the most problematic I've ever seen, not just because of the aggressive tactics and sheer indifference to the Constitution it depicts, but the ugliness it reveals about the state of American law enforcement, a deeply upsetting callousness towards the citizenry that must be witnessed to be believed. The story starts in Sacramento, California in September of 2023. There, a man named Jacob Palkovic was driving his 17-year-old stepdaughter home from school. As he was driving, he noticed a black SUV with tinted windows following him. Concerned, his daughter called his fiancée, Jennifer Kretschmann. She instructed him to drive to her workplace, a local school, for their safety. But before they could arrive, the unmarked truck drove in front of them, and a terrifying encounter with a group of plainclothes officers ensued. Take a look.
I'm trying to pull into my wife's work right here, man. Hey, officer,
get out of the car.
I got the car and drive.
Get out of the car.
I got the
Put
car
it in park.
I'm a minor.
Get out of the car.
Yes, sir. I'm coming out. What the fuck? What did I do, man? I'm just trying to climb to my wife's
Put your hand behind your back.
I can't. I got a
Put
bad
your hand behind your back.
I got a bad back, man. What the fuck?
That's right. A bunch of men exit an unmarked vehicle with guns drawn, pointed at Jacob. There are no police markings on their car, and they didn't even announce that they're police officers. Instead, they drag him to the ground and proceed to execute a painful and terrifying arrest. Just watch.
Don't resist.
Yes, sir. What am I doing? I just wanted to get to my wife's work.
Well, that was stupid.
What the
That was
fuck?
fucking stupid.
Dude, I'm not. I know that is good.
That was fucking dumb.
I can't breathe,
All right,
man.
he's good.
I can't
Turn around. Turn around. Stand up. Turn around and stand up.
Now, let's take a second to acknowledge the utter lawlessness of what we're seeing here and what it means. And I will allege, for this particular video, these police officers have not explained to Jacob why he is on the ground in obvious pain, being handcuffed. They have not spoken to him at all. They have not articulated a crime or a probable cause for violently removing him from the car. Instead, they have used force without any foreseeable provocation, an indiscriminate use of police powers that only escalates when they arrest a 17-year-old girl. Just look.
What the fuck are you guys doing to my daughter?
Is this your wife or your daughter?
She's 17 years old, man.
Well, then stop acting like an idiot.
Dude, I'm coming to my wife's work.
Now you're going to jail.
She's 17 years
you're going
old,
to jail.
man.
Now you're going to jail.
Why would you do that to a 17-year-old? What the fuck are you guys doing?
Now, even though police have already handcuffed a man for no alleged crime, along with his 17-year-old stepdaughter, they are not done showing what can only be described as sheer contempt for the law. That's because the teen's mother, Jennifer Kretschmann, watches the arrest as it unfolds and demands an explanation, as is her right. But the police are having none of it. Watch how the officers respond and tell me, and I do not say this lightly, are these the heroes that we're supposed to back without question? Just watch.
Hey! You better get your fucking hands off my daughter!
Stay right there.
If you ever
You're
touch
going to go
my
into
daughter
handcuffs
again,
too. You're going to go into handcuffs too if you
Name
do
and
not back
badge
up. Davis 167, please back up. Please back up.
that is my daughter. Don't touch me.
Please back up or you're going to go into cuffs too.
Do not touch me.
Let's see what's happening. Do you want me to tell you?
Please
not
do,
going to the
but
car.
I would like to check on my child.
She's fine. Let's go over here.
I just watched her get yanked out.
listen.
17, she'll be 18 in December. She goes to the Met.
So listen. They're conducting a traffic stop on the car. The car was not stopping for probably the last 2 miles.
Why?
I don't know.
So again, the officers on the scene use the threat of handcuffs to suppress dissent. They literally threaten to jail a mother whose only crime is to demand an explanation. No statement of probable cause, no articulation of reasonable suspicion, only the allegation he had not stopped for 2 miles for an unmarked vehicle with tinted windows. But it gets worse. Much worse. See for yourself.
They have no right to be in my car.
Nothing.
Don't talk to you. What do you need?
Who are you?
I'm the supervisor right now. Who are
Okay,
you?
what's your name and badge
I'm
number?
Johnson System 2, so your car is
I'm
going to get
sorry,
towed
say it
today.
again?
Your car's going to get towed today,
Why?
and your daughter and your husband are going to jail. What else do you
My
want to know?
daughter is 17.
I don't
and
care.
You don't have a right to take
She
her to jail.
resisted arrest, and she's going to go to
You
jail for
can't-
arrest.
no,
I absolutely can.
No, why would
I
you?
absolutely
Why
can.
would you arrest her?
Why would I not? She resisted
She's
arrest.
17. You have to have a
Do
reason
you
to
understand
arrest
that
her.
your husband
a lawful
and
reason
your
to arrest
daughter
her.
just ran from police for the last
did
7 miles?
not.
They didn't?
Run?
So the camera wouldn't lie?
What do you mean run?
We have been
I
lighting
just
them
watched
up,
you pull my
conducting
child.
the traffic stop for the last 7 miles.
What?
They did not pull over.
7 miles? Why
Yeah.
did he say 2?
I
So
don't know.
get your story
Talk to me.
straight.
I'm the one that pulled her over.
Now, I want to stop the video right here. Besides the fact that the story has completely changed, her fiance has driven 7 miles instead of 2, as the officer previously stated, the sheriff refuses to answer a fundamental question. What is his probable cause for searching the car in the first place? While it's true, due to a Supreme Court ruling, officers can search cars without warrants if it is on a public street. They cannot do so without probable cause. Just listen again as the officer is asked this question and see if he answers it.
Why
Yeah.
did he say 2?
I
So
don't know.
get your story
Talk to me.
straight.
I'm the one that pulled her over, so talk to me.
No, you weren't. I watched this dude with the beard pull her out of the car.
Which is in my vehicle. So get your facts straight if you're going to talk about it.
I watched the dude with the beard.
Perfect. He's
okay?
with me.
That's the fact.
Okay,
and
so your
that's what I
daughter
saw.
is going to go to jail.
My daughter's 17. Do not touch her.
17-year-olds can go to jail.
For what?
For resisting.
Resisting what? You had no reason to grab her out of the car.
Okay.
I know my rights, and I know her rights.
Okay.
We can discuss whatever you want, but you're wrong and you know it.
No, I'm not. So
yes,
again,
you are, and you know it. Because this is a complaint against you for touching. Who is driving my car?
Your husband.
What is happening right now?
That's getting towed. That's leaving.
My car is why?
Well, if you want to tell me how the law goes, you should already know why.
I don't have any understanding. I only know my daughter says there's a bunch of cops. In
regards to what we're doing,
I watched you rip my daughter out of the car.
Me?
I watched the gentleman with the beard, and you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But you talking to me this way, you're here to protect and serve. I'm here working. I get a phone call from my daughter.
You should have a good conversation with your husband then.
Okay, I can
driving
have a
the way that he's
conversation.
driving with your daughter in the car. If that's what you're concerned about.
What was he driving like? I don't even know.
We have literally been trying to pull him over for the last 7 miles. He is not pulling over. It's called a pursuit.
What
he is running from
happened with
officers.
my daughter though?
She resisted getting out of the vehicle. Did you see guns pointed at your vehicle? Did you see guns pointed at your vehicle?
I was too far away.
Okay, so you didn't see the whole thing going down, correct?
No, but my child's out here.
So are you showing up late to the game? Can we make that
I want
clear?
you to stop talking to me like I'm an idiot because I'm not.
So that's not really an answer, is it? I mean, what does that mean? What law does that invoke? What exactly does that have to do with meeting the legal threshold to seize and search a vehicle? I am genuinely confused. But now, with legal sufficiency cast aside, what do the officers do next? They search the car. No, search is too mild a word. They ransack it. Observe.
A bunch of lockboxes. There's one in the back too.
Narcan. She might have dope on her. You might have had her stuff the dope somewhere.
She might have dope on her. So I think that's a revealing comment. That's because the police at this moment know they did not have a legal reason to drag two people from a motor vehicle and put them in handcuffs. It appears they are looking for a post hoc justification because it's revealing what has not been articulated at this point. They didn't accuse him of speeding. They didn't claim he was driving erratically. They did not cite expired tags or some other technical violation. Because of their silence, I think it's safe to infer they saw someone they didn't like the looks of and without evidence arrested them. And as you will see, they turned to a playbook that police used for decades to incriminate otherwise innocent people when they screw up. The war on drugs. See for yourself.
I'll get under that dash on that side real good because you could see that she was moving around, making those furtive movements under her.
Oh, 100%.
You guys want me to? Yeah, that's my car. Yeah.
So I just want to stop here for a second, not to make some caustic comment, but just to read something to remind all of us why this matters. A founding principle, so to speak, that is often ignored or forgotten. The text of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, which most definitely applies here. Call it a notification from the Constitutional Rights Emergency Broadcast System if you wonder why I'm doing this. All right, here it goes. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. Now, watch the rest of the search and decide if these officers have ever read this.
Are they really? Probably not.
Can we stop the trunk? Is there a female coming so we can search her?
They got a bunch of burnt foil and then white powder falling out.
Where?
Right here.
Under the dash, yeah.
No, and out of this. So all that just fell out of here.
That was what was shoved between the seat. Yeah, it's
So
in that
all the
envelope.
dope's in the envelope.
Yeah.
What is it?
And then
Looks like Fetty
Is it?
or Coke.
probably.
Alright, so both of you go for that thing then.
Alright, she didn't have nothing on her. I just searched her.
Huh?
I just searched her. She
Okay.
didn't have nothing on her.
He was trying to hide this in.
Alright, you know how many gloves in your truck? In the back.
Oh yeah, it's wrapped up in one of these pieces of paper.
So it looks like Fenty or Coke. Interestingly, the officer who has just discovered drugs does not actually show to the camera what he has supposedly discovered. They don't even seem concerned about preserving the evidence, something that will make sense later as this story unfolds. They don't even put on gloves or take precautions to protect themselves from these dangerous drugs. But for now, they continue to pull apart the car amid innuendos that there are drugs, a process that includes a male officer physically searching a 17-year-old girl. Take a look.
Alright, so both of you go for that thing then.
Alright, she didn't have nothing on her. I just searched her.
Huh?
I just searched her. She
Okay.
didn't have nothing on her.
Looks like Xanax. Here, look under the seat on this side again, under though, because he shoved, this notebook was like hella shoved all the way down.
In there?
On that side, driver's side.
You've already found it over here?
Yeah, I already pulled it out. Looks like it might be Xanax.
Crushed up Xanax?
Yeah, if you look, there's antibars in there too. It's wrapped up in that
Inside.
yellow notepad paper. You see anything there?
Is he on status or anything? Olsen, they haven't ID'd him yet. Well, what the fuck are they doing?
Did you get her ID?
She's not.
I want to freeze this frame right here and look at the documents the police had seized. A voter registration form. Now, what makes this worth noting is something we have argued on this show over and over and over. Bad policing is meant to discourage civic participation. Corrupt cops erode our political efficacy. And as you will hear later, that's exactly what happens. But even with intrusive searches yielding nothing, police continue seemingly fixated on punishing the family. Just watch.
Somebody moved it on top of this seat. So where did this notepad come from originally?
Stuffed in the side. Driver's side. It was stuffed in between the seat and this center island. Run these two names. Jacob Palkovic.
That's the driver. BJ. What? He's got mail for in his name inside of here. Okay. Put it on my camera.
And foil.
And burnt foils.
Did you open that up? Were they Xanny bars?
They look like Xanny bars. I didn't open it up any more than you just done.
Well, I'm so glad the officers found this whole thing funny. Truly, I'm glad that terrorizing two innocent people and then tearing apart their personal possessions is humorous to them. I think we can clearly see how police regard us, the public, how little they take into account their harmful actions can literally turn our lives upside down. But one thing they are aware of is the body camera. And now, amid a fruitless search, the supervisor asks an interesting question. Are you still on? And after he asks it, the officer turns off his camera. Just watch one more time.
I am.
I'm on. You can finish searching.
Now, the supervising officer says something we can't hear, and the officer turns off his camera. I wonder why. But there is much more to this story than what you just witnessed on the body camera. And that's because after all the invasive searching and aggressive tactics, I think you will be surprised or perhaps even shocked at how police charge this case. And for more on that, we will be joined by Jacob's fiance and the mother of the teenager swept up in this arrest, Jennifer Kretschmann. But first, I'm joined by my reporting partner, Stephen Janis, who's been looking into the case and reaching out to the sheriff's office and researching the law. Stephen, thank you so much for joining me.
Tay, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So first, what were the charges and what is the sheriff's department saying about the case?
Well, Tay, the charges are really questionable in this case. They charge him with evading, simply not stopping for a police vehicle, which, as you can see in the actual video, there's a lot of questions about that, which I'll get to later. But in terms of the sheriff's comments, we sent them an email. They have not responded yet. But really, I think on the scene, the sheriff's made clear what their comment was about this arrest, which is contempt for the public. It was pretty clear they didn't want to answer questions. Actually, scratch that. They were just basically defiant, saying we don't have to explain what we're doing to the people on the scene. So there's your comment. If I get anything more, I'll mention it in the chat.
Now, that seems like something that would be a secondary offense, right? I mean, doesn't there need to be an underlying crime to justify that?
Tay, it's really interesting because basically evading is a crime of intent. So what are the components of intent? The components are that you're being pulled over by a marked police car with officers in police uniforms. And if you're not, one of the defenses is you can say, hey, I didn't know it was a cop car. And I think in this case, with the evidence that we've seen on video, I think that defense could hold up. In fact, I think it's preposterous that they charged them with evading when they clearly weren't dressed like police officers. They were just randomly touting guns, jumping out at people in this era when we have a lot of road rage and kind of crazy stuff happening. How can you blame someone for being scared and not wanting to pull over? So really, I think intent is a big question here, and I don't think these charges will hold up anywhere.
Stephen, we've reported extensively about the destructiveness of specialized units and militarized policing. What is your take on this in the context of aggressive policing and its impact on communities across the country?
Well, Tay, let me quote the famous Frank Serpico, who uncovered police corruption in the New York City Police Department in the 1970s. He said, there's no such thing as a crooked cop, just crooks and cops. Well, I will say this about specialized units. People in jeans and T-shirts running around randomly pulling people over, pointing guns, are not law enforcement. They're not enforcing law. They are lawless. And this is the problem with specialized units. They inherently, aesthetically, are lawless, and they do things that endanger people. They don't help us with public safety, and I've covered so many of them, I can't even count. It is a bad way to police, it is destructive for the community, and it needs to end.
And now, to learn how she has been fighting back against police overreach and how it's impacted her family and what she plans to do to hold police accountable, I'm joined by Jennifer Kretschmann. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So let's just start at the very beginning so we can help people understand what happened here. You were at work and you received a frantic phone call from your daughter. What did she say?
I'm sitting at work. I get the phone call and I'm like, where are you guys? Ready to just tell them, because they probably stopped and done something. And she's like, Mom, we're being chased or followed. I don't remember the exact verbiage, but I'm like, slow down. Tell me what's going on. I can't really understand her because it's muffled, arguing or something. I learned it wasn't arguing. It was just what's going on? Turn around. And I could hear him telling her to look and see. Look at them. Tell me, are those cops? What's going on? She's like, Mom, I think that we're being pulled over. I'm like, what do you mean you think? I wasn't understanding. What do you mean you think? Is there a car behind you? Is it a cop car? Does it have lights on it? And she's like, I can see lights in the window, but I don't think it's a cop car. And I'm like, well, you have to be able to see the sides of the car. And she's like, Jacob, go to this side. And she's trying to tell him to get over a lane. And he wouldn't get over a lane. He was just, at that point, was just focused on going straight, figuring out what's going on and trying to get to my work. And I said, where are you? And she's looking around for identifying landmarks. And she said, we're almost to your work. I'm going to head towards the parking lot right now. And you guys just pull into my work. And I'm thinking that either if it's a cop, they'll just slowly pull into the parking lot behind my work. And that's the biggest thing I'm going to have to deal with. If it's someone trying to carjack them, when they turn into a busy parking lot, they're probably just going to speed ahead, right? And then as I'm approaching, and I've lost kind of track of where CJ went, which is my daughter, and I can see a scuffle on the other side, and I see other vehicles, actual police vehicles coming onto the scene now. So I'm really confused because what went from we might be getting pulled over, it went to this huge police scene in a matter of less than a minute. And so when I get there, I'm ready. I was not the calmest. I will say that. I see men in my car digging through stuff. I see a guy with her pink backpack in his hand, and he's going through it. He has a baseball cap on. I'm assuming he's some type of undercover person at this point because there's multiple police cars. And I said something probably not very appropriate, but get your hands off my daughter, with some foul language in there. And then he threatened to arrest me, pushed me backwards, and I'm like, okay, I just need to get to my daughter.
Something I think that's really important to explain is how your family perceived the car following them. The police described their driving to a safe place, the parking lot of your workplace, as evasion. So I would assume your husband was driving the speed limit and obeying traffic rules as he drove roughly 1.5 or 2 miles to your workplace. Tell me, how did your family perceive the men in the car?
From what I understand, Jacob started noticing this black SUV with guys in baseball caps. Like one, like I want to say some had them forward and some had them backward. And he swears he could see the barrel of a gun. And so then she's like, I'm calling mom. And so these men, there's no badges, no uniforms. They have on baseball hats, sunglasses. What they learned later were bulletproof vests. In the police report, it says Sac Sheriff in big yellow lettering on the front and back. That was not true. You could see a Sac Sheriff in black lettering, kind of from behind. And I have multiple videos of that as well. When they got out of the car, and I could see them, they were wearing jeans and Converse tennis shoes. One guy had on like khaki cargo pants. Like nothing would have told me they were law enforcement.
Why did your fiance respond this way to the men in the car? I could understand him thinking maybe it was a road rage incident or even a carjacking.
So Jacob is from South Phoenix. He has had a history, he has had many experiences with law enforcement. He has tattoos on his neck and on his arms and on his body. So he knows what it's like to be profiled. So he knows law enforcement side. He knows if it's gang members. He knows that in no scenario is this a good scenario when you have a group of men that don't look like law enforcement asking you to like pull over because they're like nudging, and he can see them all doing like this or something like that. And so that's why CJ was so like scared and confused, because she's like, if it's law enforcement and you don't pull over, this is bad. If it's a gang and you don't pull over.
Your Honor, my client here, we are suing for this police department for $10 million. For $10 million. Yes. We are suing this police department for $10 million. For this atrocious, egregious act to the highest order of what they have done to these innocent people. So these people were innocent, man. See, this type of shit I'm talking about. Oh man, and then put your hands and roughing up my daughter too. Oh, I'm like, you asking for Armageddon? I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm getting names, facial recognitions. Hey, guess, boy, you hear me? License plate memory. Oh yeah. Yeah, and there's apps too, boy, where you can track these some bitches. Let me stop. Well, let me stop, Lord. I'm not gonna unveil those secrets. Yeah, you got me messed up. Yeah, I wonder, are they able to like punish these? Were they able to punish these officers or whatever or these false officers, whoever the hell they were? So I'm like, hey man, there's phony motherfuckers going around like that, man, playing cops and shit just so they can, because they get a thrill out of racially profiling motherfuckers and shit, man. Come on, man. Like, yeah, that shit got to stop, and we have no choice but to rise up. And whether they be real or not, if they get approached because they chose to F around with the wrong ones, because there's groups of cats out there, Devin, that will take it there. Yeah, they will take it, yeah, above such levels of where they will where they may pop up on a motherfucker like, quicker than Batman, if you will. So, yeah, there are those groups of guys out there. So, yeah, I mean, no matter how big of a white cop you are, or whatever the hell, and you motherfucking still come up on you, damn it, like on some Batman shit. And you should be receiving no protection or whatever the hell, because you want to feel like you have the right to do whatever to us and our family. You got us effed up. So, Mr. President, you need to change this shit now. Motherfuckers send your ass letters and all that shit, President Trump. You need to get on this type of shit now, like yesterday. Korea rising up, damn it, and we are saying no the fuck more. And I'm telling people, do not ball up, damn it. You do not think that you have to ball up and just take this bullshit. No, rise up on your own 10, damn it, hell, and face this motherfucking danger with boldness. Let's put a stomping, damn it, on all this cowardness, because motherfuckers who are cowards now, what it's come to now, for what it seems to me, you got a whole bunch of people who are trying to enforce upon others to be cowards as well. And if you're not, then you are a problem, and then you should be met with force. Well, if that's the damn case, from what I equated, let's go. I'm not wrong for saying that, YouTube. But hot damn it, let's go. I'm talking about self-defense here to its highest order. And if anybody does wrong to you, man, you have every damn right to put your foot up the motherfucker's ass and send their ass past Mars. I don't want their ass to stop to the moon. Nah, I want you when you put that foot up a motherfucker's ass, I want to send them, damn it, past Mars, motherfucker. Cause that's what some of these motherfuckers deserve. Because of how wicked they are. And the evil, damn it, they believe what they should have a right to get away with over people, man. Fuck that shit. No more. No more. Because it all still revolves around that line of where it said, oh, I'm white and I say so. Fuck your white and I say so. How about that? Fuck your white and I say so. And fuck all you bootlegs too who condones this kind of shit. This wicked shit. So that we can't get help, damn it, to sue these motherfuckers, to hold them accountable. Oh well, hey, it's we got to respond to the declaration of war, as it seems. We got to respond. Real shit. So let's go. Let's go to the other half of this. But yeah, but that shit is wrong as hell, man. Like, yeah, that family should be able to sue, damn it, to sue the hell out their asses for fucking 10 million. I want them to sue to the point to where, damn it, I want it to hurt their ass. Damn it, I want all their pensions to go away, damn it. Hell, fuck their pensions. Them motherfuckers need to be fired. Fired and some more shit. Well, let's continue.
says Sac Sheriff in big yellow lettering on the front and back. That was not true. You could see a Sac Sheriff in black lettering, kind of, from behind. And I have multiple videos of that as well. When they got out of the car, and I could see them, they were wearing jeans and Converse tennis shoes. One guy had on like khaki cargo pants. Like, nothing would have told me they were law enforcement.
Why did your fiance respond this way to the men in the car? I could understand him thinking maybe it was a road rage incident or even a carjacking.
So Jacob is from South Phoenix. He has had a history, he has had many experiences with law enforcement. He has tattoos on his neck and on his arms and on his body. So he knows what it's like to be profiled. So he knows law enforcement side. He knows if it's gang members. He knows that in no scenario is this a good scenario when you have a group of men that don't look like law enforcement asking you to like pull over because they're like nudging, and he can see them all doing like this or something like that. And so that's why CJ was so like scared and confused, because she's like, if it's law enforcement and you don't pull over, this is bad. If it's a gang and you don't pull over, we're going to get shot. The first man said they were in a like high-speed chase pursuit for 2 or more miles, which that's not even possible. I was like, okay. And then Johnson, the driver of the vehicle, said they had been chasing him for 7 miles. When the police report actually came out, it said like 1 mile, 1.1 miles or something like that. According to CJ and Jacob, it was about a mile.
So your family wasn't actually accused of any traffic violations, right? I mean, what traffic violation did your fiance commit to get pulled over? I mean, what was the crime that led to these charges of resisting arrest?
Hey, that is such a wonderful question. One that I asked many times throughout the entire incident that was never answered. In fact, when it was answered, it was they resisted arrest. No. I want to know why they were being pulled over. Because he wouldn't pull over. No. Why was he being, like, not one time. Hold on, let me clarify. At one point in time, he goes, well, he doesn't even have a driver's license. And I said, he has 2. He has one in Arizona and one in California. I know, like, when we went from one state to the other that he got, I remember I was there. So no. And that was the end of it as far as them attempting to tell me a reason for the traffic stop initially. I got nothing else.
There are so many things that I found problematic with the arrest and the treatment of your family. But the way you were treated was, let's say, less than courteous. How did the officers respond to your questions and your concern about your daughter who is a minor? And would you say the officers were being professional?
Well, there was a lack of professionalism, but they responded as though I was the criminal. They responded as though my daughter and my fiance were criminals. And, well, they told me they were. They told me they were, like, I would say 10 plus times. They're going to jail. Your daughter, your husband, they're going to jail. And every time I said why, I got no response. I was told to stand back, stand in the shade, stand under the tree, get out. I was told I was interfering with the investigation. But literally when Detective Johnson came up, and he was the supervisor on scene, I said, what is your name and badge number? And then told me I didn't know the law. I'm coming late on the scene. I didn't have my facts straight. And then proceeded to tell me that they drove 7 miles in pursuit. Like, they just treated me horribly. I would never want them to treat anyone this way. They searched my car illegally, and then they towed my car. It was just like the icing on the cake. Like, they had gone through this whole scenario. And in the very end, we're like, and we're going to cost you $1,000 just because we effed up And I think it was just to make it look like they did something legitimate.
I assume your car was being searched without your consent. And when you reviewed the body camera footage, were you surprised by the things that the police said? I mean, for example, they said they found Xanax bars and a piece of paper and tin foil that was burned and white powder residue. And yet none of this evidence was ever shown on camera. And you and your family were not charged with drug possession, right? I mean, surely if there were drugs in that car, they would have charged you as the owner.
No. There were no drugs in our car. There were no tin foils in our car. We had lock boxes in our car. And this is how, I should have mentioned this when you asked about the treatment of us. We do Turo. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It is like Airbnb for cars. And so basically it's people can come and rent your car and they pay you just like Airbnb if they came and rented your house. And so we have 2 or 3 cars that we have done this for just as a little side income. And so they have a lockbox when people come rent your car, they get the key out of it and drive away. Well, they came over, and when he's telling me all of this about the drug paraphernalia, I'm like, what? And then he asks about the lockboxes, and I'm like, and I think he thinks that that's some sort of like drug hiding place, or I don't know what he thought it was, but I'm like, no, we Turo our cars. And so then when I watched, and they had a piece of body cam footage where they're talking about us, and I could hear it in the background. He goes, "Do you think they're realtors?" No. And they're like laughing about us, like we're not good enough to be realtors or something. Like,
so interestingly, I thought I heard an officer say to you, if you keep asking questions, you can go to jail too. I mean, did I hear that right? What did he actually say to you?
You did hear that correctly. That was, I believe, Masterson. Yes, you heard that correctly. And the way I gauged it, he was kind of like, he really looked up to this gang suppression unit, like they were the cool guys. And so he was kind of repeating all the stuff they were saying to him. And it was so maddening, and I was nowhere near, well, there was no scene. Anyways, and that's the thing. You had asked earlier too, like when I saw them searching my car, I literally said to them, I'm like, stop searching my car, get out of my car. I do not give you permission to search my car. And that's when they told me there were multiple reasons that they could be searching my car right now.
I heard the police officer say something interesting. He said, when you were concerned about the way your daughter was yanked out of the car, he said, I wouldn't be mad at the police. I would be mad at your daughter. And they also made fun of your daughter, saying that she was a minor. How did their discussion of your daughter and their treatment of her make you feel?
To be honest, I had never even heard what you just said. Like, I didn't hear them making fun of her like that. I saw it, and I saw them like not caring about me getting to her, and evidently she was asking to see me the whole time too, like asking, she could hear me asking for her, and she was crying and they wouldn't take her to me. And so I literally told them about her trauma too, from when she was a child, and how that I just wanted to be with her, even if it meant I could stand outside of the car. Because in the beginning I didn't know. I mean, I knew she didn't do anything wrong, but I didn't know. And for them to make fun of her, like, and what's horrible too is like, there's not one snippet of body cam footage with her being arrested, anything that happened to her. And I'm assuming that was intentional, because in the court case, they said only one of the arresting officers was wearing their body camera, which wasn't true. They had not one image of her body camera or of an officer arresting her. And I'm worried that they're going to see that, or the public's going to see that and think badly of her, and have opinions about her, and not consider the fact that she's still like a 17-year-old who's being manhandled by these like large grown men. They called her the B word. And that's what she told me as they were arresting her. And they told her she was going to jail, like there was no question about it. And then they put her in the back of a police car, drove that police car away from me, like to the parking lot, and they allowed a male officer by himself behind a door to search her, physically search her. And that's where her abuse is. They kept saying she must have stuffed the drugs somewhere. They threw her in the back of a police car and left her there, and had some uniformed officer like check in on her once or twice. And every time they promised that she was going to be taken to me, and she wasn't brought to me till the very, very end, which was probably close to an hour later. I know she has PTSD, and I know that she needs me right then.
I am so sorry. It is so terrible to hear about your child being spoken about like that. I mean, how long was this whole process? And were any of your family taken to jail? And what were the charges?
So from the time I got the phone call, which was about 4:40-ish, until the very end of the incident, when my whole family was returned to me, is how I see it, was about an hour. No one was taken to jail. An ambulance came for Jacob because he couldn't breathe. He was in the midst of a panic attack, and he had injuries from when he was 18. They searched him again. They walked to the back of I think he was going from the police car to the EMTs, and they searched him again, like searched very well, because they were so insistent that they had to have something. Of course, I have nothing. And then when they walked over at the very end, Jacob comes walking to me like he's a mess. CJ's just like frazzled and just like, I want to go home. I want to go home. They say, you can't take your car. Your car is being towed. And then I of course, I said, why? But then I just stopped because I was so grateful that I had my family with me. I didn't care what they did with my car at that point in time. And I didn't want to say anything that would jeopardize anyone going to jail. And he was charged with evading a police officer, so failing to yield to a police officer, and resisting arrest.
So how did you handle the charges?
He went to court in December. They wanted to see what he wanted to do, and he said, I wanted to fight it, and he would not agree to a guilty plea. And so we met with the public defender, who said absolutely, and tried to get the body cam. That she couldn't get it. The first round, they wouldn't release it to her. The second round, they only sent over some of the uniformed officers. And so evidently, at some point in time, she was able to get some other body cam. And on the day of his court case, she called and said that the district attorney had watched the video footage and said that the cop's behavior was insane and that the charges were all dropped.
How much has this cost your family, financially or emotionally? What has the personal cost been? I know this has been traumatic for your daughter.
There's all sorts of costs to this. Like one, it's emotional and psychological. And I don't even know if that's the right word for it, but at work, I feel like everyone looks at me differently, treats me differently. No one even confronts me about it. I didn't even take it back to my office and show anyone until the charges were dropped, because I was so afraid that they wouldn't believe me, because they probably wouldn't. Law enforcement's never wrong, right? So it's cost me, for me personally, there's no amount of money that I could say, because that's my reputation and my livelihood, and it's my work. It's cost my daughter her graduation with her peers, her friends. She honestly just totally withdrew the whole first semester. And she wouldn't blame it on this, because kids, I don't think, can correlate the dates and see how things happened, but it was so obviously there. January. So the whole last 5 months of her life have been in disarray. The tow and the actual costs were about probably $1,200 in the end, when the 4 or 5 days without the car, right? So in October, I was like, I don't know why I'm feeling so stressed and I can't seem to focus at work and all of this stuff. And so then I started seeing a therapist. CJ went back into therapy, and Jacob started seeing a chiropractor and all of that. There's all of those things too.
When we were talking earlier, your request from the police was just so small. You just said it would be fair for your family to be reimbursed for the money you lost due to your car being impounded. But honestly, I think you deserve an apology from the department. What would you want to say to the officers if you knew they were listening to you right now? And what would you want from the department?
I would want to tell them that when they went into law enforcement, their goal was to truly protect their community, and serve their community, then they were not meeting their goals. I would want them to think about if it were their mother or their daughter or their sister or their brother that was just coming home from school, drinking a mango smoothie, and to be attacked and harassed by a group of men. My daughter had a gun pointed at her head, and so did my fiance. It's like they had real life guns that could kill them pointed at their heads. I don't know the fear that brings, because that hasn't happened to me, but I can imagine that they will never feel safe again. Especially because these are the people that are supposed to be protecting you. So it would have been better if they weren't law enforcement and they were a gang, because at least we would be able to feel safe in our community afterwards.
You know, we noticed that the police picked up a voter ID card in the body camera footage. And what is such a coincidence to me is that when people are arrested or harassed by police, they lose their political efficacy and they feel like they don't have any impact on government and like their voice doesn't matter. And so they stop participating. And it's actually something I wanted to discuss.
This is the first time I haven't voted. What doesn't matter anyways? That's literally how I feel now. I used to be so one-sided, and now I just don't even care. And I'm not to say anything against all the work that you guys do. I know that, and that's why I'm putting this out there. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks of me or my family. Things have to change. They just treated us like we were trash. And I don't know, we were criminals, but I don't even think criminals should be treated that way. We're just all human beings trying to get by in this world, but these are not the people I want protecting my community. That's all I can say.
Now, I have so many thoughts on the actions of police that we just dissected for you. I barely know where to start. I mean, it is so hard to really put into words how troubling it is to witness police perpetuate this injustice against two innocent people. But since it's part of my job and the promise we make at the beginning of the show to do so, I am going to try. So the first point I want to make is fairly straightforward. There is no explanation or excuse for what we just watched on the body-worn camera. There is no justification that law enforcement can conjure to burst out of a car with guns drawn in plain clothes to terrify this family. So let's just dispense with any pretext or police propaganda for the moment. What I really want to parse here has nothing to do with weighing the police explanation versus the extensive interviews and reporting on this story. Instead, I want to talk about the idea of cruelty. Now, I know that sounds odd. What does the concept of cruelty have to do with a flawed, if not illegal, traffic stop? I mean, Taya, this isn't a philosophy class. Well, let me explain. When I watched these videos and spoke to the family, I was struck by how casually these officers deflected the concerns about their lawlessness. Their disregard for how disruptive their actions were for the people on the receiving end was just stunning. But what hits me even harder is the outright contempt the cops had for the people in that car. That even after they had screwed up, they continued to double down and became, for lack of a better word, meaner. Simply put, they became cruel. It was a glimpse into a reality we all know about, but it was so stark and transparent that it left me with another alarming concern, that this example of overly aggressive policing, so easily dismissed by the people who execute it, is as much a threat to our way of life as the crime it purports to stop. Just consider the words of Jennifer, our guest, when she said, "We're all human beings trying to get by in this world." It's an important sentiment echoed by the 19th century German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who wrote a book called Human, All Too Human. It's a collection of aphorisms that touches on all aspects of simply being human. And in it is a quote that I think is applicable to the ordeal we have reported on today. Nietzsche wrote, "The mother of excess is not joy, but joylessness." And that's what we witnessed on the body-worn camera, the excessive use of police power and the joylessness that ensues from it. The trauma, the economic harm, the psychological duress are all the result of excess law enforcement. The fear, the terror, the civic paralysis, rooted in the act of police overreach. It's a collection of social ills so disturbing that I think the question actually is, do we really understand how this aggressive form of law enforcement affects us in ways both less obvious and sometimes completely unacknowledged. Because while I don't truly know how effective or even useful this style of policing is, I do know it is clearly and unequivocally dehumanizing. It is, put simply, not an instrument of justice or a process of public safety, but a strategy to turn citizens of a democracy into supplicants of a police-driven autocracy. That's right. Because any civil society where police can do that to innocent people is simply not as free or as fair as advertised. Now, don't get me wrong. We live in a democracy. Our voices matter. Our rights matter. What we do matters. But democracy is fragile, and it can easily be eroded by bad actors who don't respect its principles or believe in its importance. Therefore, all I can conclude from what I've watched is that these officers could care less about it. They seem to me completely devoid of respect for the law, comprehension of the Constitution, and more importantly, why it all matters. And even more troubling is that they are the agents of excess that drain our lives of the joys of freedom. They simply seem disconnected from the truisms and the beliefs that tie us all together. Our humanity. They seem to believe that the law is predicated upon vengeance, violence, and cruelty, not the idea that we are all presumed innocent. It's a tool to harass, terrorize, or otherwise menace people that you don't like instead of a shared set of rules that govern all our lives. Not negotiable boundaries that can be crossed just because you have a gun and a badge. That's not how this social contract is supposed to work. I know this is strong language, but watching those cops is like seeing a collection of fascists within our midst. Not law enforcement officers, but rather inequality warriors who only want to divide us, cage us, enrage us, and conquer us. And as our guest told us, she was so shocked and demoralized by the behavior, she didn't even vote. Now, how's that for backing the blue? But at the same time, we should also take another lesson from this disheartening example of police abuse. We must remember that we have the tools to fight back against this roving oppression. We, the people, can counter the cops who think by illegally putting us in handcuffs, they have defeated us. Well, let me be clear. They have not, they cannot, they will not. And how do I know? Because I am here telling you this story. Because even if these officers feel they can freely violate the Fourth Amendment, there is still a First Amendment that stands in defiance of them. And it lives here on this show and on this channel, and it lives in Stephen, and it lives in me, and it's in our hearts and our minds, and we're determined to use it to inform you. We can ensure that the actions of these officers are not kept secret from the public. We can produce this show, highlight the evidence, expose the wrongdoing, and otherwise inform the people who matter. You, our viewers, our community, the people who believe our rights matter. I know all of this might seem underwhelming when pushing back against men with guns and badges and a decidedly bad attitude. Maybe that the power of the pen might seem somewhat insignificant against the cowardly bravado of 4 plainclothes cops in a tinted SUV. But don't underestimate that power. As one of the people who wrote the Constitution intended to preserve our rights noted, the pen is indeed mightier. And let's show the powers that be how that works. I want to thank Jennifer for coming forward and bravely sharing her experience with us. Thank you, Jennifer. I wish you, Jacob, and CJ the very best in receiving the apology your family deserves. And of course, I have to thank intrepid reporter Stephen Janis for his writing, research, and editing on this piece. Thank you, Stephen. And I want to thank mods of the show, Noli D and Lacey R, for their support. Thank you, Noli D. And a very special thank you to our Accountability Reports Patreons. We appreciate you, and I look forward to thanking each and every one of you personally in our next live stream, especially Patreon associate producers Johnny R, David K, Louis P, Lucida Garcia, and our super friends Shane B, Kenneth K, Pineapple Girl, Matter of Rights, and Chris R. And I want you watching to know that if you have video evidence of police misconduct or brutality, please share it with us and we might be able to investigate. Please reach out to us. You can email us tips privately at par@therealnews.com and share your evidence of police misconduct. You can also message us at Police Accountability Report on Facebook or Instagram, or at Eyes on Police on Twitter. And of course, you can always message me directly at Tejas Baltimore on Twitter or Facebook. And please like and comment. I do read your comments and appreciate them. And we do have our Patreon link pinned in the comments below for accountability reports. So if you feel inspired to donate, please do. We don't run ads or take corporate dollars, so anything you could spare is truly appreciated. My name is Taya Graham, and I'm your host of the Police Accountability Report. Please be safe out there.
Thank you so much for watching the Real News Network, where we lift up the voices, stories, and struggles that you care about most. And we need your help to keep doing this work. So please tap your screen now, subscribe, and donate to the Real News Network. Solidarity forever.
Okay. Hopefully I can be heard. Yeah. No. So fuck the apology. Where's the check? Me and my family was highly violated by these shitty ass white cops. We need to get paid. 10 million, Your Honor. 10 million. Because that's straight bullshit. And sometimes the public defenders will just just so they can make their quotas and shit, so money can circulate into the system. They would try to convince dude why he would need to take the plea. But it's cool that that their lawyer, is like, hey, that they need to fight against it, and so therefore the charges were dropped. That was cool, that was good. But now that the charges are dropped, so I'm like, okay, now I'm pretty sure now that they are able to sue. They're able to sue the hell out of them. And I got some more videos too. Dude, yeah, like that's you motherfuckers can't get mad if I'm telling you, if a whole little shadow militia form up in this motherfucker, and then and then y'all gonna be hating it. Y'all gonna be really hating it. It's the direct result of such actions that has been going on for hell ever since the beginning. So yeah, and this shit needs to end, man. We got to say no more. No more for we don't deserve this. And just like they showed you, they was about to vote as a family. And and hey, and like she said, hey too, like Taya said, hey, that's a blow against Team Blue, against the damn Democrats. So hey, and it's how this shit can impact, that too politically, and which is why also too I'm bewildered of why there's not a lot of so-called brothers here in the space who are, who are just not covering this, because there's a lot of them that we know who are super savvy when it comes to, to the political realms, here domestic and the whole geopolitics and all that shit. You may got your stars and stripes in that, but how come you ain't bringing this up? For this is a problem. Well, I could say at least shout out to brother and Dr. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, you know, because he brought up, you know what I mean, to at least some decent, great degree when it comes to, you know, his term that he developed, and shout out to him, blue leashing, you know, which is where, you know, the women, as they've been known to do, is they use the police, you know, to weaponize against men, predominantly against black men, you know, to get black men to be in servitude to them, you know, to obey them and their orders and what they want the black man to do for them. And so, therefore, when they get upset, then they can lie and then use and weaponize by calling the police on the man because you didn't want to do what she wants you to do, or because you're not with her no more, or you don't want to be with her no more, and she ends up seeing you 2 weeks later with another chick. And so now she want to foam up some lie that you did something to her. And then here come, and you got police doing dumb shit like this. These same police with the same deranged ass mind frame. You got these same police that will respond to such calls like that. Oh, you can imagine them at the height they'll get. Hell, these motherfuckers probably might come in their pants at the opportunity to do that. Not only did they racially profile you, on top of that, you gave an officers a way to fuck with another man, especially a black man, to commit a false arrest against them because of your lies. So yeah, that's blue leashing. Yeah. So shout out to brother Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. But I'll tell you what, he be the only one. I ain't hearing a bunch of brothers in this space, man, covering this type of shit. Ray, don't you know we got BGS too? Yep, I haven't seen him covering no shit like this either. So, and how they got into basically how she said, yeah, how this can have a drastic effect against such, you know, against those of us who are victims of these kind of situations. How much of a drastic effect it can have on us who've been through this when it comes to mentally, physically, and spiritually, and definitely economically, financially. So yeah, so I got some more videos to show y'all real quick. So yeah, so let's get to it. Please hit the like and share, and hit the Cash App if you will, and bless Hama Force. Thank you.
We have an update. Cop found guilty for the murder of Sonia Massey, even though many in law enforcement said that this was justified, including Officer Tatum on his simple-ass YouTube page, called it justified when he came on this show. A jury, the partner of the cop, and others said it was, in fact, murder. Here's a reminder.
The body camera video reveals the events leading up to the horrific scene.
What took you so long to answer the door?
Oh, I was trying to put on some clothes, sir. I'm sorry.
You doing all right mentally?
Yes.
Sure?
My medicine and stuff.
All right. Okay.
I love y'all. Thank y'all.
Inside the home, Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson can be heard asking Sonia Massey to check on the stove.
We don't need a fire while we're here.
Within seconds, things become tense.
Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
I rebuke you in the name of
God, I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Massey starts to set down the pot and apologizes. Grayson fires 3 times, striking her in the face.
Headshot wound to female, 1078.
Prosecutors say Grayson's partner tried to give the 36-year-old first aid, even though Grayson discouraged him.
His partner followed protocol all the way through. His partner testified that he was afraid of someone that night, but it wasn't Sonya Massey. It was, in fact, his own partner. Why would the cop be afraid of his partner? Because he saw his partner commit murder. That's the reason he's afraid. I want to remind you of how Grayson responded or acted after killing Miss Massey. Here it is.
That she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came out with boiling water. That's what all this is. I was standing right here. All right. And that's where he's landed.
What do you all need from us?
Just nothing right now. Just hang out there for me. Thank you.
I need cranes to put them around the house if you guys can. But other than that, that's I think it. Anything else, suspect?
Me?
I didn't know what happened.
Yeah, I'm good. Bitch crazy.
Sean Grayson's partner, you see him here in this court sketch, is telling the jury tonight that Massey never seemed to be a threat that night last July.
His name is Deputy Dawson Farley, and he basically was immediately questioned by prosecutors. He was a witness for the prosecution about Sonya Massey and his feelings about what she did when she had that pot of water. They were asking him things like, were you nervous based on what she was doing? He said no. They said, were you worried she was going to hurt you? He said no. Then he went on to clarify that he was indeed scared that night, but not of Massey. Instead, he said he was scared of his partner, Sean Grayson.
Put it up. Full mass. In an update, a jury has found Officer Sean Grayson, former Illinois Sheriff's deputy, guilty of second-degree murder in the fatal shooting of Miss Sonya Massey. Grayson had been charged with a total of 3 counts in connection with Massey's death: first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and also official misconduct. He pleaded not guilty to all counts. His attorney told ABC News the jury, made up of 9 white women, 1 black man, and 2 white men, said he was guilty. County Sheriff's Deputy Dawson Farley, who responded to Massey's home along with Deputy Grayson, took to the witness stand on last week and testified that Massey did not appear to be a threat. Quote, "She never did anything that made me think she was a threat." End quote, Dawson said. Quote, "It was essentially the defendant's actions that raised my sense of awareness," Farley said of Grayson. During his testimony, Farley said that he wanted to, quote, "do right by Massey by testifying for the prosecution in this case." I want to back up just for a moment. What the officer is saying under sworn testimony is that he saw a murder take place. The killer happened to be his partner. And he's doing the right thing by testifying for the prosecution in order to do right by Ms. Massey or to serve justice in this matter. I can appreciate a truthful testimony in the day of the week. But until we get to a space where Deputy Grayson is arrested by his partner on the spot, we still got a whole lot of work to do until we get to a place where when Grayson pulled out his weapon, the partner pulls out his weapon on Grayson. Why are you pulling out your firearm on this woman who's turning down boiling water? Now, until we get to those spaces, there is no celebration because Miss Massey is dead. And there is no verdict that will bring her back. The Prosecution played Grayson's partner's body cam footage of the shooting in a monitor, causing multiple family members of Massey to cry. They also had to leave the courtroom, understandably so. According to WICS, Grayson leaned forward over a table, not watching the monitor. One juror appeared to cry as she watched the footage, holding a notepad up to her face in an attempt to hide behind it. That's according to WICS. Following the 7-day trial, the jury was given the option of considering second-degree murder, according to ABC station WLS in Chicago. Grayson's sentencing is set for January 2026. He could be sentenced from 4 to 20 years in prison or be given probation. The jury was instructed not to deliberate on the lower charges. Let's put them up. We got Ben Crump. We have Antonio Romanucci. Attorneys for Massey's family said in a statement Wednesday that the, quote, verdict is still a measure of justice for Sonya Massey. They added accountability has begun. And we now hope the court will impose a meaningful sentence that reflects the severity of these crimes and the life that was lost. We will continue to fight for Sonya's family and for reforms that protect everyone from unlawful use of force. I'm going to highlight something in that video. When you have a moment, you can go back and listen to it in its entirety. But it breaks your heart when you hear it. When the officers first arrived, Ms. Massey said something. She says, "I love y'all." She says, "I love y'all." That's how she greets them. As they are walking inside of her home, there's no warrant. They don't have a right to be there. She's not the target of an investigation. What did they investigate? She called the police for help. They are there to protect and serve her. Instead, she gets murdered. At least the wheels of justice are moving in the right direction, but obviously this shouldn't even be a story if we did not have out of control officers in jurisdictions across this nation. All right, Yasmin, thoughts here.
Yeah, something that's so sad about these stories is that I remember reading about this case, and I think I was even on this show discussing this story when it first came out. It's hard to keep track of these incidents, though, because they happen way too often. Like, how often is someone who is just innocently at their home, sleeping, doing whatever, not being a threat to anyone? How often is their home invaded by the cops and then they're killed, right? Like, that sounds like such a ridiculous scenario, but it is happening way more often than it ever should. What doesn't happen often enough is that these people are held accountable, that these cops are found guilty of the crime that they committed. And as you said, like, this should have never gone to such lengths. It was so obvious what had happened there. But like you said, any kind of justice in the right direction is something that we need to be celebrating, because we want to see more of that, right? We can criticize the way it was done. We can say, here are ways that it could have been better, but we still need to celebrate that this was the right thing that was done. It doesn't bring back the victim, but hopefully it can help prevent further victims from this type of violence in the future. In the meantime, we still have the issues with these cops, right? There's the qualified immunity, the reasons why they think that they're safe to behave this way with people, to go so far as to take people's lives, to traumatize their families, to take mothers away from their children, and vice versa. And they have very little fear of any kind of retribution. And that alone is a huge, huge problem, especially when you consider, the people who become cops, like they're not, as far as we know, they're not being vetted as far as like, are you racist? Do you have racist tendencies? Do you look down on people? Does power go to your head the minute that you have a gun in your hand? Because the answers to a lot of those questions are probably yes. And the reason why I say they're probably yes is because we keep seeing incidents like this one. Incidents that people don't like to say that they're always racially motivated, but it's really hard to argue that they're not sometimes, especially when you just look at the trends. We look at the people who tend to be involved on the wrong side of these incidents, and we look at the people who at the cops, Yeah. And also like the fact that, you have these people, they interview for a job, you give them a job, and then they're giving deadly weaponry, and then they're given deadly force, and they're told, you know what, do what you got to do to protect yourself and don't worry about it. You're not going to go to jail if you have to shoot somebody. Of course, that's going to go to anybody's head. Most people would have a hard time not letting something like that go to their heads, not letting something like, shooting somebody become normalized, because that is the environment and the atmosphere that they're working in. It's an atmosphere where that type of violence, that kind of responses, they're not necessarily celebrated, but they're definitely excused, right? They're definitely normalized. They're not punished, like maybe they would say, you know what? You had an incident out in the field, so maybe take some time off for yourself, maybe go talk to the therapist. Like maybe these things are happening, but if they are, that is good, but they're not happening enough, because at the end of the day, we're still losing innocent people to these cops who don't know how to control their emotions, their anger, their triggers, like whatever it is, whatever they are doing, it's not enough. We need to stop these things from happening in the first place. I'm happy for the justice, but let's do more. Let's keep going.
Well said. Ithaca, New York, years ago, under a very progressive, remarkable mayor. Ithaca, New York decided, well, if we review all of our 911 calls, 51% of those 911 calls were actually social in nature, like getting the cat out the tree kind of stuff. And so they decided for every officer that they let go, for every officer that resigned, they would replace that officer with an appropriate social agent rather than cop, in order to create congruency with how people are utilizing 911 in their community. Brilliant idea. Worked fabulously well. In addition to that, they also mandated their officers to have ongoing psychological evaluations, something that most police agencies do not do. The cop you hire on day one is not going to be the same exact cop on day 365. And we need to know that, just in case there's something that can be done prior to a Miss Massey being killed or murdered in front of another cop. All right, we'll bring you updates on the sentencing as it develops.
Yeah. And she's right too. Yeah, there's not enough vetting being done in these damn police departments. It's like, damn it, they're just hiring any old Joe, damn it, from the damn streets. There's no vetting to see, like, okay, if they're racist, like their views on different things, political views, just diving deep into their damn psyche. Then if they seem like, oh, they are of the clan that's on the far left, yeah, like super democratic and all that shit, is totally anti-family, and and just got like totally ass backwards fucked up views on people and whatever. Yeah, and it seemed like, which gives them the telltale signs of that they are possibly highly are the destructive, evil ass cops evil ass people whom we don't need as officers. Yeah, if it's them, then tell their ass, yeah, to take a hike, because we want level-headed, wise, discernment-driven people. We want people who are of righteousness in the police force who's going to be who's going to be equal with everything across the board. Period. Yeah, it's true. The motherfucker may not be the same, as they were like on day 365, as they were on day one. But it's to do the psyche to check and see of where their core principles are, and how they believe in being in when it comes to the treating other people. And to be able to apply proper and good, decent, fair judgment in all situations. And also, the brother on here was right too to say, the officer who's the dude's partner, he should have pointed. We should be at a point to where the officer should point his gun at the dude who shot Sonya Massey, and basically and commence the arrest right there. So since we are not there yet, and to enforce and to push forward to that, into it coming to that point, both officers should be held accountable for Sonya Massey. Yeah, just because he did it, but no, you. But even though still he said, hey, he wanted to do right by Sonya, whatever, so we can at least say, hey, we're glad that, that he at least came forward, and that some justice was served. We can't say in full that, justice was, she got the justice. Yeah, she got justice. Yeah, no. Because that son of a bitch come out 4 years, and you will see this son of a bitch in a whole nother department. I can damn near guarantee it. And boy, and if a shadow militia that I've been talking about, if that was formed, oh yeah, it wouldn't be long, of him facing the shadow realm. No matter what state he go to, motherfucker will have that. Motherfucker will have one of the Yautja clan members. Motherfucker will have one of the Yautja clan members on him. So yeah, but rest in peace, man, Sonya Massey. May God bless her family in Jesus Christ's name. So yeah, man, may she rest in peace, and hopefully the Lord brings His hammer upon this foolish creature, upon that whole department. I pray. Yeah, so like and share, man. I got a few more videos to show. So yeah, we're gonna get through. We're gonna press on through it. Hell, I pressed on through it with you guys when y'all show police cams of other bull crap, of other matters when it comes to these females and how wild they be acting and shit. So yeah, y'all can press forward. Y'all can press forward with me on this, which ranks of more higher importance. So yeah, and I'm just like, yeah, man, it's time. It's shit like that. Yeah, it's wartime. It is wartime. And we got no choice and shouldn't be scared to say such, that it is wartime. They have declared war on us, the innocent, for all these decades. So therefore, and we have the right to say, okay, you want war, then so be it. Let's go. Hold on. If President Trump, if you don't correct this shit, man, then that's what the hell it will be. If you don't want domestic wars, plural, civil wars to go on them in your own country, then you would do just that. You will correct these issues, so it don't lead to that. But let's go, fair use.
Hi, I'm Taya Graham, and I'm the host of the Police Accountability Report, and I am here with breaking news. Sergeant Ethan Newberg has been charged with 32 criminal counts of false imprisonment, assault, and misconduct. I'm here with my co-host Stephen Janis to talk about these charges. So, Stephen, tell me a little bit about some of these charges against Sergeant Ethan Newberg, who also is paid roughly $250,000 a year by the city, $243,000 a year. So tell us a little bit about what the city's been paying for.
So he's a Baltimore police officer, just to establish this, and he has been arrested before for arresting people for speaking at a crime scene. Well, a scene during an arrest. So these charges are
Charles Faulkner?
Sort of an extension of what he's already
Charles Faulkner?
11 incidents in which a person was either minding their own business, let's say inside their own home, driving, parked, and he arrests them. Arrests them with no pretense, with no criminal basis, with no completely unfounded arrests for a variety of random encounters, like one with a FedEx guy who happened parked behind a scene where he was, and he tells the FedEx guy, you got to get out here, and the FedEx guy, he arrests him and then calls his job to try to get him fired. A situation where a man is inside his home watching what police activity. He tells a guy to come out of his house, and then arrests him for jeopardizing a police officer.
Didn't he actually ask a subordinate of his to arrest the man when he came out of the house?
Yes.
So when he followed Officer Newberg's instructions, it led to his arrest.
Right, and then another arrest where he saw a guy across the street, said to one of his subordinates, hey, we chased this guy before, remember? Let's go arrest him. And he arrests him. And in every case, it's something absolutely that you cannot arrest a person for, and it shows how the Baltimore Police Department operates, because this has come after the consent decree with the federal government. This has come after a Justice Department report found unconstitutional racist policing, and also shows how disruptive policing is to the lives of the people of the city.
Absolutely. So there is a question I have.
Charles Faulkner, what's wrong with your police department?
Exactly. Where did this body camera footage come from? I mean, is this the police department holding him accountable? Who's holding him accountable here?
Well, this is a great point. One of the things we talked about in Police Accountability Report is the fact that police departments do not hold themselves accountable. This came completely from Marilyn Mosby's office, the state's attorney of Baltimore City, and it came because after they found this initial body cam footage that was questionable, they requested all his body cam footage for 6 months. Officer Newberg was not turning in his body cam footage from arrests, which is what you're supposed to do. So in other words, he's arresting people, then not turning in the body cam footage. And so basically what happened is they requested all the footage, and then they went through it, and they found more and more and more cases. Let's listen to what Mosby has to say about it.
The indictment alleges that Sergeant Newberg, acting beyond the scope of his authority, engaged in a common pattern and practice of harassment and intimidation to knowingly, intentionally, and unlawfully harass, detain, and assault law-abiding citizens for the improper purpose of dominating, intimidating, and instilling fear in the citizens of Baltimore City.
So as you can see, this was really initiated by the state's attorney, who, by the way, have charged 54 officers in the past couple of years, and just recently exonerated people for their conviction integrity units. So really, right now, the police department is not functional in terms of holding itself accountable.
It's interesting that since this is not even a full year's worth of body camera footage,
right,
and there is 32 criminal charges against him, we can only imagine what we would find if we had access to all of Officer Newberg's body camera footage.
Right, and the thing is that, body cam footage is only turned in when it's related directly to an arrest. So there could be dozens of encounters, that we don't see where something happens. But also, he was supposed to turn his body cam footage in from each of these incidents because it was tied to an arrest, and he just didn't do it. So what that tells you is police officers aren't complying with the law or complying with the regulations of the department about how to use their body cam footage. So again, even though we, or as a society, we put these sort of rules in place to ensure that police behave correctly, they have the power to ignore them, and they ignore them constantly. And this is a great example, and that was a good question.
You know, what's interesting is I was reading in this that there was a woman who was detained simply for not minding her own business. That's a quote from Sergeant Newberg himself. So,
and there's another great quote he says, "We make the rules out here," which is very interesting and very, I think, illustrative.
Because aren't they supposed to be following laws, not making up rules?
Exactly. Police officers do not make the laws. The government makes the laws, or supposedly we make the laws. But as he was pointing out, and I think quite accurately, when it comes to the streets, Baltimore City Police do what the hell they want.
So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to follow up on this and keep you updated. My name's Taya Graham. This is Stephen Janis. Thank you for joining me for this exclusive breaking update of the Police Accountability Report.
Charles Faulkner, what the fuck is going on, bro? What the hell's going on, man, with your damn police department, bro? You got a shady ass officer, man. Dude, that motherfucker boy was beyond diabolical. Issuing instructions to you just so that, hey, if you follow them, he'll arrest you. 32 counts. And looking at how much that motherfucker was getting paid to, oh hell no. No. Yeah. Yeah, and he needs to be like under the prison. That motherfucker needs to be under the prison. That motherfucking man issued instructions to an innocent man, to come out of his house so he can arrest him. Motherfucker should have just stayed in the damn house. Fuck that shit. And dude, man, that motherfucker's crazy. He's like, yeah, and like the dude said, he about the officer's turn off, in the last video, we had it where these motherfuckers have it happening now, which we can imagine, it's not that hard or far-fetched to believe of them, of these officers turning on and off their fucking body cam. So, yeah. Yeah, so therefore it's best and important for us to do what we need to do in our dealings with the police, whether you're getting pulled over, I don't give a damn if it's getting pulled over or whatever, any interaction, immediately record, start recording. Hell, we got these high advanced phones now and shit. Hell, yeah, we are going into the future with this shit to where therefore there should be no reason why you don't have just that one button press, damn it, that will take you to just to record. To have it set to automatically record. So therefore, because we can't trust their body cams. And I'm also advocate for us getting body cams. Yes, because and not just in our dealings with the police, but there's dealings with, those who we come across on our everyday, that may spark up some bullshit or whatever with you, you know what I mean? But you don't know it, but it's best to have those things handy, so you can quickly, boom, hey, hook it up and you're just ready to go where it don't take you long at all. We just got to get good and better with quickly and immediately capturing these crazy, wild situations right as when they spark for our protection. For our protection. So, all right. And let's, like I said too, and as I promised, we will later on, I'll check out some brothers, in their streams and their videos. And as at the same time, I know how to do that. Check out some other brothers' videos and shit, live streams that's going on, and some other stuff as well. I'll be checking that out while I'll be getting ready the movie night. So we'll be having that, and I may make a little short video regarding that that meaningless debate between Andrew and Coach Greg Adams, Andrew Wilson and Coach Greg Adams. So I may give my take on that, but remember to get through this here, because this was put on my heart, you know, for me to do, because I noticed this going around on YouTube, and including the space, you know, in the Black Manosphere. There's hardly anybody covering this type of shit except for Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. And shout out to him. Shout out to that brother. So I'm glad to see that they are, or at least a channel out there on YouTube that you know, that's dedicated to holding the police accountable. Because I'm like, I know these situations can keep going on, man, and there's not any kind of like resistance towards this shit, man. You know, of all the damn type of damn podcasts and YouTube channels and shit, there's not one damn it that's dedicated to holding these worthless human doings accountable. Come now. So yeah, I got some more. Yeah, let's check it out real quick. Yeah, because afterwards, boom, we can get that ready. I actually already have the movie lined up, so yeah, I want to get this out ready before it gets too old. So, yeah, so we can watch something, you know, that's a little bit more on the happy side, basically. So on the little joyful, exciting side, yeah, we're just diving into the Geekverse, and I may give my takes too. Yes, and I will be covering Predator Badlands as well. All right, just to let y'all know, throw that in there. All right, here we go.
This is corruption. We're ruining people's lives. We're being forced to ruin people's lives.
Former state troopers are coming forward tonight, blowing the whistle, they say, on a quota system that's leaving innocent people charged with crimes they did not commit. Good evening. I'm Lauren Lowry.
And I'm Marius Payton.
I'm Tracy Cornett. The next time you're out driving on the interstate, especially late, you're going to be thinking about what WSMV4 Investigates has now uncovered.
Chief investigative reporter Jeremy Finley is here with the latest on his sobering problem investigation.
Well, guys, what we've uncovered is more than just two former troopers coming forward about what they say is a system designed to pressure troopers into making as many DUI arrests as possible. We've also obtained a secretly recorded meeting and internal maps that troopers say explains why so many innocent people are being charged with DUI. We've told you about Thomas Manis's arrest and Stephanie Fair's and Candace Slade's and all the other people arrested for DUI by state troopers when they were completely sober. But we've never heard from any of the troopers who've arrested sober people for DUI until now.
This is corruption. We're ruining people's lives. We're being forced to ruin people's lives.
Do you know if you've ever arrested a sober driver for DUI?
Yes, sir. I'm sure I have.
Former troopers Ashley Smith and Adam Potts say there's a reason so many innocent people have been arrested for DUI in Tennessee by state troopers. A reason, they say, revealed in these internal maps and recorded audio from a troopers meeting in Chattanooga.
Arrest every DUI that you can get your hands on.
We've always thought this was a great thing. because you want to get drunk drivers off the road. Do you feel like that this push to get DUIs is eventually having a negative outcome?
Absolutely. There's pressure to arrest DUIs.
Potts says it's not just pressure.
It's a quota.
I have to ask you, did you ever feel pressure just to pull someone over and arrest them for DUI just to make a quota?
Absolutely.
It's something directly addressed in recorded audio from a meeting with Captain Patrick Turner out of Chattanooga, obtained by WSMV4 Investigates.
I'm passing on the message of what the command staff wants. What does hard work look like? Well, it could look like arresting 100 plus DUIs a year.
In that meeting, it stipulated to troopers on the midnight shift, 100 DUI arrests will be required each year per trooper.
If there's DUI, I want you to load the jail full of them.
Turner also talks about consequences when it comes to how many DUI arrests are made, as well as contacts, meaning drivers pulled over each shift.
You turn in 33 DUIs per year and 1.7 contacts, you're going to get spanked.
But despite what you just heard, this is what the THP emailed us. Quote, the Tennessee Highway Patrol does not have or use quotas for traffic stops, citations, or arrests. And there's more. In emails obtained through the Open Records Act, Captain Bruce McCarley sent out maps this year. Subject line, DUI map. It shows every county in District 8 and every trooper with a number next to it. These former troopers say those are the numbers of DUI arrests made by each trooper. What is the message to you all? Why send this out to troopers?
You're not doing good enough because somebody else is beating you with the DUIs. You need to do better.
These former troopers say there are incentives for troopers to make DUI arrests.
The advantage of arresting somebody, whether they're really drunk or not, is I continue to get that premium overtime.
So does that translate to troopers feeling like, if I'm working this shift, I've got to find somebody to arrest?
Absolutely.
For full transparency, both Potts and Smith were fired by the THP. Potts pleaded guilty to leaving the scene of a single car accident involving his personal vehicle.
I made a mistake. I had a crash off duty.
And the THP is seeking to decertify Smith, accusing her of helping a family member to get out of a DUI. She's fighting that claim before the state. The THP may simply say that you're just a disgruntled employee, and that's why you're coming forward.
I would have said something before if it wouldn't have been career suicide for me.
As for what the THP says about their claims and everything else we've obtained, we don't know. Colonel, this is Jeremy Finley with Channel 4. After we tried to speak with the head of the THP in August and he drove away in a car, we once again sent our findings to them, asking for an interview. Instead, they sent a statement reading in part, troopers are highly trained and expected to use their judgment and make necessary traffic stops based on observed violations and public safety needs.
I think they really don't care about the citizens. I think they care about the way it looks, the perception.
Oh, okay. So it must be over with now. All right. Yeah, so that's wild. And guess what state I'm in? Yeah. So Trump, you need to do something, man, because that's just wild. And them officers coming forth now. Somewhat, yes, they shout out to them for coming forward, but then again, still like, hey, could have been, a lot sooner. Could have came forth a lot sooner. Yeah, I got another video, man, but yeah, that was just diabolical, dude. Like a whole operation. But I had to think, I'm like, well, it's not that hard to, yeah. So, they're already being, uh, embedded, I would say very embedded groups and operations of these wicked and evil motherfuckers in law enforcement. And getting a lot of history and all that stuff from BGS, Black Guru, Mr. Z, Art of Idmore, Dr. T.S.I. Johnson. Yeah. After all the history, a lot of history I'm getting from them. Hell, still learning. Especially from brother, I'll be remiss if I did mention him. Brother name was Protagonist. Yeah, from all the knowledge and stuff I've been getting from these brothers. Yeah, it's not that far-fetched to believe of them having deeply embedded operations, for these police departments, and that have been happening for for decades. So, yeah, Mr. President, it's in our right as citizens to protect our damn selves. And we shall do just that, even if that means forming a little shadow militia of some form of kind. Because this bullshit, you believe in cussing, Saul? Yeah, so we gonna cuss on this one. This bullshit needs to change. If you about making this country great again, sir, as you say, then Donald Trump, then Mr. President Trump, you need to rectify this man. These are branches of the tree that are bearing no fruit, that needs to be cut off and burned. Next video.
New information tonight connecting a police chief to a shadow police force. WSMV4 is investigated for arresting homeless people here in Nashville.
Our Brendan Tierney shares the new details the city's mayor says he didn't even know about until we called.
A Middle Tennessee police chief could lose his badge after I got a report that shows he crashed a car while working off-duty in downtown Nashville and then lied to his boss. Vincent Troce spent years as a Tennessee state trooper, and new documents say he also worked for the Solarin Risk Management Group, being called a shadow police force. The report says Troce was working off-duty last June when he crashed the Solarin car checking so-called hotspots behind a business. But security video shows Troce didn't stop or even report the crash that caused more than $2,700 worth of damage. In fact, when Solarin CEO Jack Bird reported the crash to troopers, the report says Troce first lied to his boss. He eventually admitted to the crash before resigning in July. Troce was hired as the police chief in Alexandria, Tennessee this spring. But Highway Patrol wants to strip away his certification for being dishonest, leaving the scene of a crash and failing to report it. The Post Commission is hearing the case, but today accepted his lawyer's request to postpone it.
I called him to ask a few other questions, and he informed me that he had tested positive for COVID.
Well, this case has been pushed to next month. The Post Commission is still scheduled to hear tomorrow about a report into Troce having officers working for him in Alexandria that are not registered with the state. In Donaldson, Brendan Tierney, WSMV4.
Crazy ass motherfuckers, boy. These motherfuckers are crazy, boy, here in Tennessee, boy. I tell you, man. Like shit. These motherfuckers, they you gotta say, man, they gotta be on the liberal side, man. They have to be. They have to be. They have to be from the left. From those to the left. Those who are, whose drive is to be, you know, upright and to walk in righteousness and do what's right, for God or for not, or just for the sake of, you know, just believing in, you know, of having a strong nation. You know, that's how you believe we must be, you know, which is how God has prescribed for us to be, which is to live in harmony, do good, and live in peace with one another. We can't have officers who are of opposite mind frames, you know, of that right there, of that structure. Because being opposite of that, as we see, are these officers who are deranged, crazy, nuttier than squirrel shit, and because this immunity, whatever the hell, qualified immunity, they think, okay, that they can take out their frustrations or whatever that they have from their wives and their family or whoever the hell, or their bosses, so they think they can just take that shit out on innocent civilians. You got us fucked up. Change this shit, Mr. President. And I believe I have one more for you guys before we dip off of here. And then, like I said, give me some time. We'll be watching something that's a little bit more enjoyable, more fun, and just, you know, exciting to watch by diving into the Geekverse. So yeah, we will get into that. But best believe, if I come through more cases like these, so we will be showing it. Yes, I will keep plastering them into you motherfuckers' faces. Yes, into all you motherfuckers' faces in the world, to let you know, damn, hey, that we as black men, we are deciding to stand up against this bullshit. And this is the first step. Is continuing to put this shit out there on blast, to be continually shown to everybody. Because everybody, we know of the typical shit motherfuckers keep putting in our faces or whatever to talk about, to even be a distraction and a cover up, you know, these kind of cases. Like what happened with Sonya Massey and that man and his daughter, over them getting snatched from the car and arrested, wrongfully arrested. I will be showing more like that as they come. Best believe. Because we need more of that instead of the typical bullshit. So we are not going to allow you motherfuckers to keep sweeping this type of shit under the rug. If it's been happening, damn it, hell, for decades, then damn, we need to continue on, damn it, posting this shit, putting this shit on blast for the whole world to see. This is what's going on, and this is what we are not tolerating no more. So check this little short out. And then afterwards, I'll get my outro, and then just say peace to you guys and check you guys out later. But yeah, but check this out. This was wild.
New information.
In this next case, trouble came knocking right inside the station. When no one responds to her banging, she tries a different approach. If she didn't have the attention of officers before, she does now. The shooter then takes several steps backward, aims her weapon, and fires 2 shots at the level 3 ballistic glass, separating the lobby from the front desk. Officers take up a tactical position just out of view of the shooter. In the lobby, the woman continues smoking her cigarette, then fires 2 shots at the secure door. With the woman facing away from the secure door and her weapon on a bench, officers seized their opportunity to bring an end to the situation. The weapon she used to commit her crimes belonged to her NYPD officer boyfriend. LaPrise was charged with attempt to commit murder and multiple weapon charges.
Are you serious? I'm laughing double time. You hear me? One, arrest that crazy bitch. Yes, get her ass off the streets and away from the rest of us, respected and level-headed and non-evil citizens. Just get her away from us, damn it. Those of us who are trying to stay away from dangerous shit. All right, yeah. Rightfully so. Arrest her crazy ass, and I'm glad she did that there. Yeah, about damn time. That many white folks should start like shooting up your own shit. Yeah, such as places where uh, where it's needed. Yeah. So yeah, and I'm like, yeah, get it on, girl. Yeah, but also I'm like, take her ass off the damn streets. Yeah, we don't need that shit. Yeah, and then it so happened to be there where she's the girlfriend, not a wife, but a girlfriend of an NYPD officer. Therefore, that's how she got that pistol. Another reason why I show this show that hey, you can't blame black folks for this, white folks and bootlicks. You can't blame us for this. You can't blame black men for this. This is all you motherfuckers. Yes. This is all you pasty mayonnaise motherfuckers. Yes. This is all y'all. Y'all the ones doing such crazy ass shit like that. Like we can't even try to rationalize of why she did that shit. We can't even rationalize her unrationality, her irrational behavior. We can't say, yeah, she did it because she was, I can't even just, I'm like, wow, like, was you mad at your boyfriend to where you just gonna go and shoot up his department? Like, I'm at a loss. So yeah, y'all can have that. But like I want to end on this note, man. Like I said, rest in peace, man, and God bless. Rest in peace to the victims of these shitty, evil ass officers, such as Sonya Massey. Rest in peace, and may God bless her family in Jesus Christ's name. And in Jesus Christ's name, may God bless also the
all the enemies sake. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Nothing's difficult. Everything's a challenge. To adversity. To the stars. From the last plane to the last bullet to the last minute to the last man, we fight. We fight. We fight. We fight. We fight. We fight.
They keep trying when I know there's something to live for. I keep fighting, but I know I'm losing the battle. I keep trying when I know there's something to live for. You're not turning on like why? I keep fighting, but I know I'm losing the battle. I keep trying when I know there's something to live for.
And what do you sacrifice?
Calm. Kindness, kinship. Love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago from which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. My anger, my ego, my unwillingness to yield, my eagerness to fight, they set me on a path from which there's no escape. I yearn to be a savior against injustice without contemplating the cost, and by the time I look down, there's no longer any ground beneath my feet. What is my sacrifice? I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. Now, the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything!